up to. He's trying to find his opponent creeping. He knows that he's not creeping the expansion. He's actually creeping the green up by his base, which actually he kind of should be able to assume, but he's going to go for the creep camp. So even though his Blade Master was not finished healing, he still has the Blade Master be the focus of the healing, or the focus of the damage, I should say. And he lets that grunt just take the rest of the damage, because whatever, he'll just heal himself it afterwards. And uh-oh, here's a Blade Master. So he's got to kind of run away. And he knows that there's no good way of keeping that Death Knight from not stealing the creep. He can't really keep him from doing it. So he's got to run away from that. Notice that right there. He just runs away. He realizes Death Coil is too much for me to handle. And this is one of the things that's really good about fast Death Knight, is if you find your opponent creeping, you can keep him from creeping. I mean, look. Oh no, the Death Knight showed up. I can no longer creep. And this is just very intelligent from Focus. Oh my god, he didn't turn around and get the Magi. I feel like that was a mistake, because he really could have just gone for that Magi right there, and he still might. No, he obviously, Fav gets the kill. I feel like Focus didn't have to go for the Death Knight right there. He could have really just stolen that creep. I almost feel like he should have seen him creeping that and going for the extra damage on the DK, which is not quite worth it. Yeah, he moves slightly faster than Death Knight, just slightly faster, and he gets a couple of hits in, but Blight and Unholy Aura and Strength regen, not super awesome. So, more cool stuff from Focus. This is what we saw in Game 1. Lots of grunt creeping. This primarily happened once he had 3 and 4 grunts. He crept with his Blade Master up until he got 3 or 4 grunts. You see him micro right there, because piercing damage kind of sucks, or I mean, for the Orc player, kind of sucks against grunts. And you just notice that he takes a lot of damage here, but he's going to go and finish off the Ogre Magic, get the items, and be happy. So, here we go. He's going to finish this off right here. Nice, a level 3. Be careful, because you're going to get coiled. He's going to get cancelled by the skeletons. There's coil. Fav is probably going to get that grunt kill. This looks very likely. But again, he's going to go for the right click with the Blade Master, of course. And let's see what Fav can do. There's coil 1. He's going to chase and get coil number 2 if he can. He should have split the fiends up to the other side. That would have worked better for him, but he will chop that grunt down. So good play from Fav, obviously, very good creep jack. This is one of the dangers, of course, of creeping with your grunts, is that this kind of stuff can happen, especially when your opponent has Death Coil. It can happen, it kind of sucks, but, he does have level 3, but he just gave his opponent 120 experience, which, kind of hurtful, I'm not gonna lie, kind of hurtful. So, this Blade Master, however, has tons of mana, and he might go for that Death Knight kill, or he might just go for some fiends. He realizes that the Death Knight is not with those fiends at all, both just because he doesn't see it, and because there's no aura there. Fav, of course, making the choice to just regenerate his Death Knight. Now, he's by this shop by the Tomb of Relics, so he knows that he'll be able to heal very easily. But there's Focus creep jacking, of course, going for that Crypt Fiend, realizing that there's a little bit too much damage for him to deal with, that his opponent has Dust, and it's probably just going to hurt him a lot. But he makes his opponent, use a Rod of Necromancy, use a charge, and whatnot. So Focus actually replaces one of those grunts, realizing that he needs to creep with his Shadow Hunter. Goes for a 3rd grunt. Additionally, because of Fav's build order, he realizes that his opponent is going, partially because of the late Death Knight, partially just because of the Fiend count. He knows that Fav is going for kind of mass Fiends. That he has... Ooh, Fav's not going to kill that hero because of Frost Armor and stops the Windwalk. Nice choice. For 2 reasons. One, he wants to be able to creep with that Shadow Hunter, of course. And having extra grunts helps you creep. But 2, because he saw not only his opponent's build order with the late Altar and fast Crypt Graveyard, but additionally, he also saw his opponent go for, he saw the Fiend count, that there's kind of a lot of Fiends, that he's not going fast 2-3, that he's getting a Slaughterhouse instead. And this is all just, that's reactionary, that's pure reactionary. I know what my opponent's doing, so here's what I'm going to do in reaction to it. And notice that he's still going Raider Walker, because, well, if you don't have Destroyers, how the hell are you going to be able to use Destroyers to get rid of Spirit Link, right? And he's not going tier 3 because he can't really afford it. He's getting the War Mill right here because I guess he needs, I'm not exactly sure of the reason. He doesn't need the lumber, but he might want Kodos. That's probably the reason right here. Because it's a way of getting rid of okay, he notices that Fiend. Sorry, I was kind of like watching the Observer ping. It's like, oh my god, a Fiend. Sorry. He wants to get Kodos because there's no Orb of Corruption, but he does have Spirit Link. But also, with Frost Armor, being able to chop that down is pretty useful. So, you can just, eat up the Frost Armor unit and everything's happy. You get to keep your 10% damage, or you get to keep your 18% or your 18 average damage, and, your opponent's -1 Fiend. So, fairly worthwhile. Alright, let's see. So, of course, Shadowhunter continuing to creep will get 3 from this. He just knows his creep patterns. I mean, really, he just knows the creep patterns. Salves up his army, and he knows his opponent's on the way pretty soon. Yeah, there's the Acolyte running across the map. And this is just going to be sort of waiting for the push that we all know is coming. Unless it's... Oh, I guess wow. If I was being very deliberate in this sort of build, though, he's like, okay, look, I kind of want 50 food before I show up, though. Just in general, it'd be kind of nice. I'm gonna, maybe fake my opponent out with his Acolyte. I have no idea. I don't know quite what it was, if he saw that he got scouted, if he decided better of that strategy. I'm not sure what Fav did to stop going for this, but he clearly looked like he was going for this kind of an attack. I mean, he bought the Blight Skull, he got the Acolyte. I think maybe it was just a fake. Maybe hell, dude, maybe he knew that his opponent was on top of him. Maybe he knew that Blademaster was windwalked. He knew he would see him, and he's like, I'm gonna fake Tower Rush. Psych, I'm creeping and going tier 3. If that's what happened, Fav is my hero. I kind of feel like that's actually what happened, but... So you notice right here, yeah, disenchant, buy skeletons. That's some free experience. And so here we see the Death Knight getting some hits on. Obvious Frost Armor is obvious. And here we go. 3 and 3. Again, he's out-creeping his opponent. That's just very typical of this matchup. And which is weird because you think about it, you're like, oh my god, Undead's so good at creeping. They have Fiends and a Death Knight and Lich. It's so easy to creep. Oh, this Lich is gonna get owned. It's gonna get owned. And he TPs it. Yeah, that's just too bad that ensnare plus right click, guys. I'm not saying imbalance, but it's definitely a very powerful racial identity for Orc. If he had an Orb of Corruption, he probably could have fought that battle, but simply a tier 2 Fiend army without like towers going up is just not very good against a well-built Orc army. His grunts have the upgrade, even though there's only 3 of them. He has Spirit Link and there's no Dispel. Sorry about that again. Focus just keeping tabs on his opponent. He wants to keep that level 3. This is really just how the game works. Now, yeah, it might be nice to level up your Blademaster some more. I mean, who can who can argue with damage output? But he also has to realize, look, I need to harass, and my Shadowhunter is kind of important. So, one thing you saw there is you saw the level 1 creep because the Windwalk was running out. I don't know if you know this. Most of you probably do. If you look at your Blademaster, the Windwalk icon will start to flash when it gets to 10 seconds and below. Any buff that lasts 10 seconds or more will flash when it gets to 10 seconds or lower. Except Dust. Dust doesn't flash for whatever. No, it does. I'm just kidding. There's some buff that doesn't flash even though it lasts more than 10 seconds. I forget what it is though. That's very odd that Fav coils that after dusting his opponent and realizing that he's not windwalked. But whatever. Not super important, I guess. Focus goes for the items, of course. Grabs the healing scroll. Grabs the Unveil pot on his Blademaster. And he's expanding. He realizes, okay, look, I'm not getting pushed. Alright, well now it's back to standard, the old school style of tier 2 Orc versus tier 3 Undead. I'm going to expand. I have tier 3 as well. What's going on? The interesting thing about his expansion is no matter what, even if you don't have any money at all, it is more efficient to... well, assuming you actually have a gold by running, though, of course. It is more efficient. You get more gold by using a tiny Great Hall than building a Great Hall, because the time you save, even if you're at low upkeep, you get more money from the mining while the tiny Great Hall is up than you get, in the difference of costs between the item and buying, building it straight up. I hope that makes sense. I'll explain it later in the dead time. But here we have a battle. So here we go. A Pit Lord with Frost Armor, and here's the battle. You notice he's going for the statue first. Primary choice. Statue, statue, statue. Of course, it gets morphed, and here we see damage output. There's Howl. That's gonna hurt. He's gonna disenchant that, I would assume. There's disenchant. There we go. And here we go. So again, the Blademaster just simply focusing the Destroyer. The Grunts trying to do what they can, but it looks like they're not really able to do much here. You'll notice that he's not really able to do a lot. Now he does, however, manage to keep that Death Knight only coiling the Destroyer, and then he quickly turns to a Crypt Fiend, goes for that, just when it gets low. His Grunts are just simply going for Fiends, and of course, Kodo ate what it could, but you notice that his battle just simply did not work at all for focus. And he's going to try, probably again, to go for some of these units. You see he's, again, right-clicking this Destroyer. Death Knight still has tons of mana. I believe he actually had a mana potion at some point. And you see he was just forced back. Now, Shadowhunter did hit level 4. He did, that was probably from the prior camp with, I believe, an Experience Tome. But certainly he gained a little bit of experience here. And he's, again, going for the Destroyer, trying to do some damage. There's another Chain Heal. I mean, he's got tons of mana. I mean, look at this Greater Mana Potion and Pendant of Energy. He's got tons of Chain Heal. And he really, really wants this expansion to stay alive as best he can. He really wants to try to find a way to keep it up. I guess he needs Viagra for expansions. I don't know. But he's coming in here, and you can see he's just churning out Raiders and Headhunters. That's really his army combination right now. Raiders and Headhunters. Raiders to